Tonight, at this table in this room, my son slid family help papers toward me like a gift. But every line said the same thing. Sign here. Lose your roof. Just put your name here, Mom, Daniel says, tapping the folder on this table. I'm May. I count costs people forget. Across from me sit my son and his wife, Lorna. At the edge of this room, Lorna's mother perches in this chair like a guest judge. They've brought pens, smiles, and a tray of cookies. Daniel pushes the papers closer. It's just a guarantee, he says. The bank needs your name so we can get approved, that's all. I rest my hands flat on this table so they don't shake. He thinks this is a small favor. I know it is my whole future. 1 week ago, I woke in this room to the soft buzz of his voice in the hallway. Daniel thought I was asleep. I stayed still in this chair under my blanket, eyes closed. She'll be fine, he whispered into the phone. Mom always signs once you say, family. A woman's voice answered, low and sharp. You have to do it right, Daniel. No drama. Bring the papers to her table. Make it sound like security for her. It took me a moment to place the voice. Lorna's mother, Gloria, planning my life like a little project. My chest tightened. At 50 years old, I have learned to listen when people think I cannot hear. The next morning in this room, Daniel was sugar sweet. He set a mug on this table with a flourish. For the best, Mum, he said, kissing my forehead. For 30 years he has liked me steady, not sweet. Now he was oversweet, like tea with too much honey. We've been thinking, he went on. The apartment is cramped with the kids. It's time we buy a house, big yard, good school, real stability. His eyes kept sliding toward the safe in the corner. You always told me to build something solid. I did. I also told him to read every line before he signs. He forgot that part. Before lunch, Gloria arrived in this room with a box of pastries and a lot of opinions. She sat in this chair and looked around as if she were measuring curtains in her head. Such a cozy place, she said, smiling. But you must be tired of stairs, May. At your age, that's a lot. I smiled back. I use them just fine, I said. She waved a hand. For now. But think of the future. Daniel and Lorna could take over the condo, give the grandkids a real home. You could move somewhere smaller, near a bus stop, more appropriate. She said appropriate like out of the way. And of course, Gloria added, we'd put everything in writing, clean and safe. My friend at the bank says if a family elder co-signs, doors open. It's smart to use what you have while you're alive, not wait for some will. She leaned forward. Where do you keep the condo papers, dear? I hope somewhere safe. My fingers tightened around my cup. In the safe, I said. Why? Oh, just in case something happens, she said lightly. Always good to know where things are. In this room, small words carry big weight. In case something happens, from her mouth did not sound like care. It sounded like a plan. When she left, I sat alone at this table, staring at the safe. The condo papers inside are older than Daniel's marriage. I bought this place after my first divorce, with my half of the settlement and 10 years of saving. His father got a car and a clean start. I got what I asked for, a roof with my name alone on the deed. For years I lived small. No vacations, no big presents, mended coats, second-hand furniture. Every spare dollar went to paying down this place and feeding my investment account. People now call me Lucky. They did not see me in this room cutting coupons and learning what index fund means. That afternoon, when Daniel went to the store, he left his tablet unlocked on this table. I did not snoop. I opened my own email, then noticed his messages pop up in the corner. A thread with Gloria. A thread with a man named Carver Mortgage. I read just enough to understand. If she signs here, we can move her into a rental next year. We'll tell her it's temporary. Her credit score makes the rate better. We need her to sign the waiver so she can't stay if we sell. Each line hit like cold water. There it was in plain text. My son and his in-laws treating my condo like a stepping stone they were eager to push me off. That night, when the house was quiet, I took out my settlement papers and statements and spread them on this table. My life in numbers. The old divorce decree where the judge wrote the words equal share. The bank records showing how I put my share into this condo, then into steady funds. Slow, boring growth that brought me peace. Frank, my ex-husband, blew his half in 3 years. That was his choice. I chose this room, this table, this safe. I ran my finger along the deed where only my name appears. You did this, I told myself softly. Not luck. Work. The next day, I called my friend Elisa, who does paperwork for a law office. I sat in this chair with my notebook open. Speak as if it's about a woman you know, she said. It's easier at first. So I did. A woman whose son wanted her to guarantee his dream house. A woman whose in-laws talked about moving her somewhere more appropriate. A woman whose condo deed was older than their marriage. Alika listened. Then she said, "Tell your friend this. If her name is the only one on the deed, no one can move her with the speech. Only her own pen can do that. So she must guard that pen." Alika helped me make a tiny script in easy words. "No new debt in my name," she said. "No guarantee on loans for adults. No signing away my home in surprise." I wrote the sentences on an index card at this table, my hand shaking only a little. Rule 1. I don't sign loans for adults. Rule 2. My home is not collateral. Rule 3. Big money talks need a neutral person. I read them out loud until they felt like my own voice instead of hers. This room has heard my crying. Tonight, it heard my new policy. Today, they came with the folder. Daniel, Lorna, and Gloria, carrying cookies and a sense of victory. Now we are here at this table. "We wanted to include you in the plan, Mom," Daniel says. "See? We're respecting you." He opens the folder. The first page is a family support agreement with many cheerful phrases. Intergenerational housing solution. Honoring our elders. Deep in the paragraph, in smaller print, it says I agree to be a guarantor on their mortgage and to relinquish any future occupation rights if they decide to sell. All written in that friendly, dangerous language. "This part just means you won't have to worry about repairs," Lorna says, pointing to a line. "We'll handle everything. You'll be our guest." Guest. In the home I paid for, I would be a guest. "And what is this section?" I ask, tapping the clause about sale. Gloria jumps in from her chair. "That's just formal, May. The bank likes clean paperwork. You won't be on the title there, but you'll always be welcome." Always welcome. Until I am not. Daniel leans forward, his voice soft. "Mom, it's safer if everything's in one place. We promise you'll have your own room, but we need to lock this in before the rate changes. That's why we put today's date there. I look at the deadline line. Offer valid until, with today's date pre-printed, in bold. A fake clock meant to rush me. I take the index card from my pocket and place it next to the pages. "What's that?" Daniel asks. "My rules," I say. After my divorce, I wrote them down so I wouldn't forget when I get scared. Gloria scoffs softly. "Rules are nice, dear, but real life is messy. Banks don't wait." I pick up a pen. Daniel's face relaxes. He thinks I have agreed. For a moment, I let him believe it, so I can see what that relief looks like. Then I lower the pen to the deadline line. Very slowly, in this room, at this table, I write today's date again in the little box. Then, with the same pen, I draw a clear, straight line through it. Ink on paper makes a sharp sound. Daniel jerks as if I hit him. "Mum, what are you doing?" he blurts. I do not answer right away. I keep my hand steady until the date is neatly crossed out. His face drains of colour. No, you can't do that," he stammers. "The broker said if we don't return it by today, the bank walks away. We already paid the inspection. We already told the kids about the new house." His voice rises, thin with panic. "We don't have any other security. You are the only reason they're even talking to us." The mask slips. He reaches for the folder with shaking hands. "If you don't sign, they'll cancel everything," he says, almost choking on the words. "We lose the house. We lose the deposit. Gloria put money down from her line of credit. We can't get another loan, Mum. The cards are maxed. Our scores are shot. You're it. You're the only lifeline left." For a heartbeat, I see my boy at 10, crying over a broken toy. But he is not 10. He is 40, with a wife and children. And he has built his dream house on the idea that I will always rescue him. "I do understand," I say quietly. "That is exactly why I will not sign." Gloria slams her palm on this table. "How can you be so cold?" she demands. "He worked his whole life. You sit on this place and your savings while they struggle." I blink once. "My savings?" I say. "You mean my half of a marriage that ended? The part I did not waste? The lunches I packed? The coats I wore until the lining tore? The nights I spent in this room learning about interest instead of going out?" I tap the folder. Frank had his half of the settlement. He burned it. That was his choice. Daniel and Lorna have had their chances too. I will not set fire to my roof to keep their bad plans warm. Lorna's eyes brim with tears. "So that's it?" she says. "You'd rather see your grandchildren stuck in that tiny apartment than help us?" My chest hurts, but my voice stays calm. "I have helped," I say. "I babysat for free when you needed extra shifts. I co-signed your first car so Daniel could get to work. I paid 3 months of your rent when the restaurant closed. Each time, I told you it was the last big rescue. You heard the money. You did not hear the last." I slide the index card toward them. "This is my line now. No new debt in my name. My home stays mine. Big money talks need a neutral person." Daniel wipes his face with the back of his hand. "So, what are we supposed to do?" he asks, voice small. "You could meet with the debt counselor in this room," I say. "I will sit at this table with you once, as a listener, while you make a plan that fits your real numbers, not your dream house numbers. I might give a small gift from my savings, one time, if the plan is honest. But I will not be your guarantor. I will not sign any waiver. The bank will have to decide if they believe in you without me." Gloria mutters, They won't. I shrug. Then you will learn to live in a place you can truly afford. No one thanks me. They gather the papers in stiff silence. At the door of this room, Daniel turns back. People will say you abandoned us, he says. They'll say you let your own family drown while you sat on your little condo. I feel the sting of those imagined words. I let them pass through me like wind. People already said I was foolish to give your father half, I answer. Then they said I was greedy for keeping this place. People will always say. I lean forward. If anyone asks me, I will tell the truth. My son asked me to risk my home and my hard-won savings for debts he hid from me, and I said no. His mouth opens, then closes. There is nothing to argue with. Months later, I sit in this room, at this table, alone with my index card. Daniel and Lorna found a smaller rental and a second job instead of a big house and a big loan. We still talk. They still bring the grandchildren. Sometimes the air is awkward, but there is less begging. My condo is still mine. My savings still belong to the woman who lived small and thought long. If someone you love comes to your table with papers and soft words, remember, you are allowed to read every line. You are allowed to cross out fake deadlines. You are allowed to say, I hope you swim, without jumping into their debt to save them. Your signature is not proof of love. It is proof of risk. Guard it in this room, at this table.